Okay guys, so in this series real quick we are going to show you how to set up your telescope, do polar alignment, focusing, auto guiding, the whole nine with the ASIair. So here we're going to jump right into the software here for the ASIair, and the first thing you'll do is have a screen. We're going to go over make sure that the mount is selected correctly, your guide scope, focal length, all that sort of stuff, your main camera, and then we'll roll into the app. First thing I do is just make sure all those settings are still right. Camera settings, gain 120, I'm negative 15 is what I'm going to set my cooler to. So I'm going to take a test exposure. I'm in, like, it's still very early in the evening, a lot of light. I just want to see if I can even pull a star in here or not. Looks like we'll be able to. So let's go ahead and hit into the polar alignment function here. And we'll get this thing set up. So I'm going to take a 10-second exposure this time to pull more light in. Let's see if it'll plate solve. Yep. 1 second. We're going to go ahead and hit let's go. It's going to rotate my scope 60 degrees and take another 10-second stop. Alright, so now the telescope knows where it's at in the world, and it says I'm off on my deck in my RA. Total error about 25 degrees. So I'm going to make some adjustments and take another 10-second photo, and it's going to update for me and tell me where it thinks it is now. And I'm going to do this several times until I get within 1 degree of error, or a couple degrees. Get the smiley face. Polar alignment is complete. Took me about 2.5 minutes from start to finish. I think the average is probably around 5. But now I'm going to go and slew my telescope back to the home position. That's just something I like to do to make sure we reset it right. And that'll take a few seconds from that 60 degree. So it's going to slew. I'll show you a picture real quick right here of it doing that. So next thing I'm going to do is go find my target tonight. Tonight we're shooting the Heart Nebula, which is IC 1805. And I want to show you something in ASIair here that is kind of a pain, but their database is really picky. So not all objects are in there, or they're named by certain other names. In this case, it does not like to have the space in between IC and 1805. So I'm going to do this again. IC 1805, hit confirm this is my target. Yes, the Heart Nebula. Click that guy, hit go to, and the telescope is going to slew to that location. Alright, we are plate solved and in the preview screen now. It took a shot. I think it's dark enough to start kind of testing exposure lengths, etc. Camera settings are still the same. My cooling has already made it. I'm going to go ahead and get my guiding calibrated. I'm going to clear the calibration here. Hit the crosshairs. It's going to select a couple stars to start the calibration process, and this takes a while. So while it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and go into the autofocus menu, and this is going to take some time as well. It's going to put together its bell curves, find a trajectory, find what true focus is by measuring the size of the stars. So I've sped this up for you. I'm coming back to the preview screen. I'm just going to take a test shot real quick, a couple minute test shot. guiding is good, decent enough. All right, so I like the centering of the target. That bright nebula, which is called Melotte 15, is right center, dead center. Got a satellite streak there, but just kind of playing with the curves a little bit to see what that looks like. I already know I want to do 10-minute long exposures on this, so just playing with it a little bit. I'm going to go to the Autorun menu here, set up my lights auto run, and again I'm going for 600 seconds, 10 minutes, and I'm just going to take enough before this target disappears. I'm going to go back and check a few settings. One is my meridian flip on, delays, interval delays between taking shots. Set all this up, guys, before you hit go. Check guiding one last time. Everything looks really, really good tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and hit go with this guy. It's going to take my first frame of 46, 10 minutes long. While it's doing that, I might play around, do some measurement stars in between shots, just to see what kind of data I'm getting in. I really like the 2-minute sub, so here's my first 6-minute sub come in. Played a little bit with the curves on that. I'm gonna check the size of the stars. Say, hey, this looks pretty good. Now I need about 45 more of these tonight. I'm gonna let that run its course overnight. I'll be back about 3 a.m. to take flats. All right, I've captured my images, my light images for the night. So I'm moving my scope up. I'm gonna put, this is a tracing tablet over there, and I'm gonna grab my flats. They're gonna be pretty long because of the filter I have in on this telescope, so about 2 seconds. And then I'm gonna go in there and take some dark flats as well at the same exposure length. So this, I think it was 2.35 seconds for the lights flats. And now that I'm doing the dark flats, I wanna match that exactly. I'm gonna take 50 of those as well. See, that's what my light frame looks like, and I'm trying to cancel out all those little dust devils there. While this is taking my darks, I'm gonna go ahead and slew back to home position, because after this I'll be taking the scope inside and getting about 3 hours of rest before work. I've already taken my dark calibration frames and my bias at this point as well. Alright, so I'm loading up Deep Sky Stacker, which is a free application. Go download the latest version. And I'm gonna go start putting in each type of file that I have for this. So first I'm putting in offsets. My offset frames are very short, about as fast as my camera can take a picture. So I get about 100 of those, usually 80 to 100. And then here I'm dropping in the dark flats that you just saw me capture. And then I'm gonna pull in my dark frames next, and these are the same length as my light frames, 600 seconds or 10 minutes total. Next, I'm gonna pull in my flat frames that I took with my tracing tablet over the scope. I also put a t-shirt on there and pull it really tight with a rubber band. Here's my flats. And then I've got my light frames. It's my stars. That's night number 1. I actually took another night, night number 2, to get a little more data on this target. I was hoping to get about 10 hours total, but and you can click through here and look at each one of these frames, what they look like in the raw state. So night number 2, I do the same thing. I'm gonna load up my biased frames, my flats, my dark flats, my darks, my lights. Okay, I'm gonna speed this process up and just kind of talk you through it again. The second night, we're doing the same things that we did for the first night in a separate tab. I'm going to make sure all my pictures are checked. You can go through here and view the raw format of the picture if you'd like, just to see. You can stretch it as well to see what it looks like. I know mine look good. I checked them prior and So I know I got 49 frames. I got my dark flats, and my offset biased. I was hoping to get 10 hours, like I said. I'm gonna try to get closer to 8, but I'm gonna throw out some of my frames and let the algorithm pick for me. So I'm gonna see how many I'd be left with if I took 90%. I'd be left with 40, that's actually 45. It'll give me 45 frames, which means I'm throwing out the 4 worst and I'm keeping the 45 best. All my settings are set up. These are pretty much factory settings here. I'm gonna hit OK, take a look, and it's about to tell me and explain what it's gonna do. If there's any errors, if you've got wrong exposure links, anything like that, it's gonna call those out. You'll have big red letters. It's getting ready to integrate 8 hours of data. We'll see what it spits out. Depending on your computer, this may take some time. I'm speeding this up. I'm running on just 16 gigabyte of memory. If you got more, it should go a little bit quicker for you. All right, so here's my final image in the raw format. You can play with these histogram functions here to kind of stretch it to see what it looked like, but I'm just going to go ahead and save this, guys. I'm going to call it 8 hours of L extreme data. And we will be back for part 2, guys. I'll be opening this up in PixInsight and showing you how to edit this to completion. Stay tuned and come back for more.